In Play Magazine, of course, brings us Denny McLain and the Tigers Report.
The website is inplaymagazine.com.
Denny's on the line now. Good morning, sir.
Morning, guys. How we doing? Are we back from all of our vacations and our little trips?
Vacations are done. We're here until Christmas.
Oh, man.
And hopefully the Tigers are almost as well, Denny.
God, hurry up. Let's get Thanksgiving here.
Listen, with the cold weather approaching and feeling, Denny, like we haven't even had a summer in Michigan or Ontario.
It's been great.
You like this weather?
Oh, God, I love this.
I want the stinky, steamy stuff. Anyhow.
Move to Florida.
I remember in 2006 when the Tigers were on the run there, and I remember listening to one game on the radio. I was driving up to Toronto, and it was snowing. It got so cold so quickly, and the way the season goes now, eventually the World Series will be played at Christmas time, and the Tigers could find themselves playing in snow.
Here's the thing that really bothers me about the game, and it really is about money, and more money. I don't know how much more money the owners can make. They get every advantage with tax issues with every city and state they play in. They're able to do things that no other human being in the United States or probably Canada can do and get away with. They literally in their ballparks, while they may have some contribution to building them, they certainly don't have a whole lot of money in maintaining them and what have you, because there's always somebody to step in.
Right.
But the thing that really gets me is if they would just play a couple double headers a year, they could move the whole playoff system up 1 year. Mm-hmm. 1 week. And why they don't reconsider it, there was nothing greater, I don't know about you guys, but there was nothing greater for a family when I was 1,000 years ago to go out on a Saturday or a Sunday for a doubleheader at Wrigley Field or in Chicago at White Sox Park and see two ball games. It was the thing to do. I know there's a lot more things to do today, and of course a lot less expensive when you got to pay $7, $8, $9 for a beer now or whatever. But it's all about money. They can control this if they'd like. And the other thing too is they probably want to start considering opening up the season, everything in a warmer climate, because so many guys get hurt in the month of April. And before we go into all of this other stuff, let me first talk about Michael Vick, okay?
Sure.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Everybody said it was must-see TV. Apparently they forgot to put it on in must-see TV in this market. I never saw anything about it. I guess he threw four pitches. Guys, he threw more passes last night than Robertson and Bonderman have thrown all year.
Yeah, he went 4 for 4, too. He was perfect.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. Man, that kid can – and forget everything else for just a second. I got something to say about that, too, but it won't surprise you.
No.
The bottom line is, man, that kid can throw.
Yeah.
Why the hell is he playing football? He should be starting for somebody in the major leagues. That kid can throw a football harder than anybody I've ever seen. That one pass he threw down, 20, 25 yards, I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. Man, it got there in a New York second, didn't it?
Yeah, and he would be the perfect example of what Rick Ankiel is doing right now, where he could pitch and play in the outfield.
Well, nothing's hurt the Philadelphia Eagles. All the sponsors have stuck in there. Protesters were limited to none. Now, one other thing. This is the biggest pain in the ass story I've ever seen in a long time. Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's enough.
When is it? Enough is enough. You know what? He's got a $10 million salary this year. $6 million is guaranteed if he doesn't throw one pass when the bell rings, and $12 million next year is guaranteed, and $7 of that's guaranteed next year if he doesn't even play in 2009 this season.
He's just a great example of a guy with a hell of an arm, but a fragile ego.
I wonder why Cabrera does not get more exposure for what he's done this year. The guy has carried the ball club. The guy has been the ball club. Mags is now starting to hit you. I guess he was like 7 for 14 the last couple of ball games. And, once Mags starts to hit, along with Cabrera doing what he does, I said this last week, they're a lock to win the division because it's just the worst division in baseball and worst division we've seen in a long time. But once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. If Verlander can pick it back up, if Verlander can start to stay consistent again, Porcello, Mr. 100 pitch, get me the hell out of the ball game, and some of these other guys, listen, anything can happen in these playoffs. We've seen it happen before. The only thing that really bothers me is you got Robertson coming up to pitch Saturday, And, I'm sorry, guys. We've seen this act before. It's like Bonderman is going to come back sooner or later. It's like Zoom Zoom is going to come back again. How long do you hold on to him? Or is the real question is nobody else wants him? That may also be the issue with this club right now.
Yeah, they've done it with Dontrell Willis earlier this year.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
when you're paying somebody that much money and you know that no one's going to take that money off, you may as well throw him in there every once in a while and give somebody a break.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. They sent the Galliarga down now to Toledo. And, they said, well, he's got to work something out. Work something out? Hell, he ain't got anybody out since June and barely got him out in June. I mean, listen, we all knew last year Galliarga won for one reason. He was getting a 5 and 6 spot in the second, third inning of every ball game that he pitched. And listen, that's the game. I mean, that is the way the game is played. You get more runs than the other team. But this guy got an extraordinary amount of runs early on in his games last year, and therefore was able to hang in there till the 6th inning, sometimes the 7th inning. But he wasn't overwhelming. Look at his stats. And I think we agreed last week on God, I forgot his name, the right-handed black pitcher.
Edwin Jackson?
Edwin Jackson. I mean, I'm not sure if he's the real deal yet, but right now, this year, he is the real deal. I mean, I started hearing everybody criticizing him recently. I mean, one bad start doesn't make a season, and now it's September next week. Now we'll find out who can pitch, if Jim lets him pitch. Yeah. This thing with Porcello really upsets me. Every time, whether he's got a lead or he's behind or what have you, at 100 pitches, it's like this kid is going to lose his masculinity, for God's sakes, as quick as they get him out of there.
Denny McLain joins us with the Tigers Report.
And one quick thing about the steroid thing. God, I'm glad we segue into this.
Hey, listen, it doesn't matter. Let's just weave the tapestry.
That's right. The tapestry is what it's all about.
That's right.
But it's got to be dark colors in the fall. This thing with the steroids. Have you guys noticed how many fights there have been this year?
Quite a few this year.
Yeah.
More than I ever recall. Yeah. Maybe it's because of the coverage of the networks and what have you, but I don't recall so many fights. Hey, you guys don't think that could be the steroids, do you? I mean, we hear this steroid rage. Mm-hmm. We hear drivers rage. We hear every kind of rage in the world. Maybe these steroids really do have a dramatic effect. Of course, we've heard all kinds of proof about it, but maybe these steroids and these type of steroid drugs they're taking have a tremendous influence on temper. I mean, we know some guys have committed suicide. Yeah. Players. Look at the kid from Arizona that committed suicide. He was an MVP 3 or 4 years earlier, and he walks out and commits suicide.
That's a good point, yeah.
I mean, this may be far more serious than baseball will ever admit. And now, of course, baseball, the Players Association, has gone to court, in federal court in the United States, and has decided that they are going to try to have the Supreme Court say, all of these drug tests should be tossed out. No name should ever be revealed, and all of these guys should be anointed to sainthood. There's something really wrong. Our system, probably the best system in the world, but even obviously it can be on either side. But I still say, in fairness, everybody should know who it was. And therefore, the judging, when some of these guys become eligible for the Hall of Fame, people can make up their mind, because it's unfair for these 104 guys. Let's say they're all Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. It's unfair for all these 104 guys who have been not named, more or less 104, and then all these other guys, including the Clemens and the McGuires and guys like that, who have been named in a very serious way. They'll never get a shot at the Hall of Fame. Yet these 104 guys who tested positive may get a shot at the Hall of Fame. There's a real injustice there, and I'm not sure how you fix it.
Yeah, and you're right, Denny. Those players on that list, the names that have come out so far, maybe one or two of them have been guys that have had small, mediocre careers in Major League Baseball, but the others are impact players all around.
And you know what? It's like I've always said, as far as the Hall of Fame for pitchers, that may be a bygone thing, except guys who have pitched the last 15, 20 years, the Maddoxes and guys like that, because I don't think you'll see another pitcher in the Hall of Fame for many, many, many years. First of all, no complete games. Mm-hmm. Number two, the walks versus strikeouts is dramatically up. ERAs are dramatically up, so you're not going to see pitchers. And I think what we're going to be shocked about, if this list ever really does come out, I'll bet you 50 or 60% of those people on that 104 list are pitchers. It's not going to surprise me one iota.
All right, Denny, very good. You enjoy your weekend. We'll watch the Tigers in Tampa do battle, and we'll talk to you next week.
Well,
on
I'll
the
tell you
Tigers
how screwed up I was. I thought Monday was Labor Day in this country, and lo and behold, I planned the whole weekend. I got to cancel the ding-dang thing because I got to go to work.
That damn employment is always getting in the way.
It always gets in the way, doesn't it? You guys have a great weekend, guys.
You
Take
too,
care.
pal.
Thanks. Bye-bye.